Andrew, it's the end of January already, 2024.
End of January. We're got our end of December numbers today. We'll get into it and kind of give you an update.
End of market stats video. Stay tuned.
All right, so it's the end of the month. We're what is today? The 20th something? I don't know.
January 24th, as we film this, 2024.
Yeah, so we're looking at December's numbers. Again, we always stay with single-family homes, Sarasota County single-family homes, so that it kind of stays consistent with what we're talking about. The numbers are going to be really shocking. I think if anybody outside of Sarasota is watching this, they're going to be like, wait, this doesn't make any sense.
We hope you're watching.
We hope you're watching. But closed sales last year, December 2022, were 486. This year, 518. So it's up. Closed sales in December year to year are up. Paid in cash is up just a little bit. In 2022 it was 221. It's 229 for this year, so up just a little bit.
Kind of stagnant. I'm surprised at that.
It's up a little bit, but medium sales price is up. Average sales price is up quite a bit.
I felt it.
Dollar volume is up. So all of these statistics are telling you, like, our market is not slowing down. And so people are asking me all the time, when I run into them on desk or I'm out on the circle, they'll say, well, tell me about the market, and their assumption is, especially if they're tourists that are from out of town, their assumption is that, oh, well, things are really slow now because of interest rates. It just hasn't affected our market at all.
Not here in Sarasota.
Yeah, it just has not affected our market at all. And you and I are as busy as we've ever been in all price points. Yeah. We're still doing some properties that are in that $500,000 range, but we're also doing a ton of business right now. We have a new listing coming at $2.175 million
in Englewood. It's on the water.
In Englewood on the water, we likely have another one coming at $1.1 million in Cortez. We just sold the one on Emerald Harbor at $1.895 million. That was all
price.
Full price, all cash, full price. Sold in 8 days. We put it under contract in 8 days. So I think my point is, really, truly, our market has not slowed down. And if anything, all of our numbers are kind of skewed a little bit higher than they were last year. So, there's more people paying in cash. The closed sales are up just slightly, but the average sales price is interesting to me.
Let's hear it.
Last year was $672,000 or just over. This year it's $713,000.
What does that tell you?
So
now remember our last market update video was ending December, but it was for November. Now we're January.
For December.
Yeah.
So the numbers, but remember, we're comparing December to December. So last year's December to this year's December, all the numbers are up. Closed sales, paid in cash is up. Medium sales price is up. Average sales price is up. The dollar volume is up a lot. So it's up 13%. So the dollar volume of sales last year was $326.9 million. This year's $369.3 million. So all of the numbers are up. I mean, all our sales prices. The interesting thing, though, is, and this may explain why a lot of those numbers are up, inventory is down. And it's down significantly.
Wait a second. It's down?
Inventory is way down. So inventory was 809.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, so it's 809 properties or single-family homes were on the market in December 2022. There's only 644. That's a decrease of 20% of inventory.
You know what? Okay, you guys go into my playlist video. I did predict. I had a little bit of a predictions video without you in it.
Sure.
But I predicted the days on market would go up. I don't know that I made mention of inventory. I thought inventory would go up. It's down.
It's down.
Wow.
Yeah, so the inventory is down. Wow. But that also probably helps explain some of, we're still selling just as much as we have, if not more. The price, but that explains why the prices are up, because there's not as much inventory. The inventory that's out there that's good is selling.
I feel like January is going to be a different tune, and maybe I'm just feeling that or something, but I feel like inventory really is going to shoot up.
I don't know. We'll see.
January. Or maybe that's just me, because I'm carrying about 19 million in inventory just myself, and then we share some things together. But that's the most I think I've carried at one time.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So we're busy.
Yeah, we're busy.
Definitely very busy. So maybe that's just me feeling it. But Okay, what else you got there? Months of okay.
That's interesting though. Like supply of inventory is up, which doesn't make any sense to me because if the inventory is down, months of inventory should also be down. You know, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know.
Explain the 4.4 months.
So that's 4.4 months is like that's like if every property that's on the market sold, it would take roughly 4.4 months for all of those properties to transact.
To sell. So the year prior
was 2.5.
Was 2.5. So that is a bit of a jump, although 2.5 is very, very low.
That's
right?
very low.
And again, just we talk about this all the time. Like an equilibrium market is about a 5 to 6 month level of inventory.
So we're still below.
We're inching up, but our sales are just skyrocketing. I mean, I think part of the reason, and this is just my take on it, that of course values are up just a titch.
Sure, right.
You know, last year we've kind of said that last month's market update video is like the values have kind of stabilized, and now I guess they're a little bit up now.
Yeah, they are, but you know, it's interesting to me though because we're starting to see a lot of properties in areas that you and I do a lot of business that are being listed way, way, way too high. And they're just sitting there. And
we don't do that because why? It doesn't do the seller any service to sit there because what ends up happening, I think I had like 5 or 6 conversations in the last week and a half with people.
It just begs
for a low offer.
Yeah. So like
not until it's not on the market for a long time.
Well, yeah, but you start out, you know, the example I like to give is, and I'm not going to give the address for obvious reasons, but there's a property out here on Longboat that we had met with the people that we thought they were going to list with us. They ended up going with a different agent. We were going to list the property at like 1.3 million. They ended up listing it 1.65 million. Okay, well, within a month, they dropped it 100,000 down to 1.55 million. A month later, they dropped it down to 1.495 million. Nobody's buying the property. Nobody's even going to look at the property.
Well, the thing is, we have to be the professional, and not to say again that we haven't taken a little bit of an overpriced listing, you know, on occasion with an understanding maybe that we would lower it. But you know,
in the end, what do you think it's going to sell at? I mean, let's talk through this.
Probably 125.
Maybe 125. My guess is that if they had listed it at the 1.3 with us, it would have sold at 125. My guess
or higher because it went faster.
My guess is they get a number closer to 1.2 million.
Yes.
And so what did they gain by doing that? Well, they wasted 4 months of time. They wasted a ton of energy, like just, you know, you're showing it, you're open housing it, you're doing all of these things, you're marketing it, you're doing all these things that if you had just properly priced it, it would have sold at 1.25 million. You wouldn't have wasted 4 months of your time and the property would have transacted. Yeah. So, you know, my point in saying that is, look, you know, if we come in and want to list the property and you say, look, I want to go for a higher number. Usually our response to that is going to be, you know, we're willing to try for a higher number, but as long as you understand if it doesn't move for the higher number, after a certain period of time, we would like an auto reduction down to the number that we're saying.
And in addition to that, what I tell people and what we see in the marketplace is, okay, my recommendation is to price it well out the gate, because you're going to end up getting a higher net in the long run, right? Because it's a psychological thing. And I know it's hard for some sellers because you're still thinking of values from 2020, you know, to 2022 or whatever. And we understand that. And even though prices are going up, you've got to be realistic, you know? And so as long as you're realistic and you set a price to where you're going to have all the eyes on it in the first 3 weeks, you're going to get a better price than if it's 6 months down the road. If you think about it from the buyer's side.
From the buyer's side, if they've seen it sit there for 6 months, it's been reduced 2 or 3 times. So they know you want to sell it. Mm-hmm. They know that you're trying to get the most out of it, but they also know that the thing sat there for 6 months. And at this point, your best buyers likely have already come through and passed on the property and gone and bought something else. So at this point, they know that you need to transact the property. In all likelihood, the property that I'm talking about is probably going to sell at $1.2 million. And if they had just listed it where we had told them to, they would have netted an extra $50,000 in that deal. But you can't, it's difficult because there's 9,000 agents in Sarasota. There are 9,000 agents. And the vast majority of them have not transacted any property. And that's not to say that the agent that has that listing hasn't transacted. I'm sure she's done very well. But my point is that just because an agent is sitting in your living room and saying they think it's worth X doesn't necessarily mean that it's worth X.
And remember, so we had talked to one of that person's neighbors actually this last week, and in the conversation, if you remember, I know you do, the gentleman said, well, I mean, what does it hurt to list it high, right? And that it does not do you any favors. And he said, well, buyers will make an offer.
And they won't. The answer is no, they won't.
I think the percentage, I'm just guessing, the percentage of buyers willing to insult you with a low offer is very, very low, because the majority of humans, they don't want to insult people, and they don't want to come in at an insulting level. They just don't. I mean, they don't, or they won't even look at it because it's pushing their budget.
Right.
And so if it's pushing their budget, you're not going to get it in front of them on the computer, let alone get them in the door, then get them to write an offer, because they're too far apart.
As an example, on that property, they listed it at $1.65 million. Mm-hmm. Well, the people who are in the budget of 1.2 to 1.3, which is really where it needs to be sold,
they're not going to look at it.
They're not even going to look at it. This is $300,000 over their budget.
And the people that are looking for the 1.6 are probably going to look up to 2, and up to 2, they're going to have homes that are much more like
they're bigger, larger, updated, better amenities. Yeah,
justify the price more than this one that's smaller, older, and needs updating.
Agreed.
And so again, listen, we want to sell properties for the highest we can, because
obviously
we get paid more, you get paid more, and everybody's happy. But it doesn't do you a service, and we're spending the money too. We spend money every month and every day
every listing on the front end. We're paying for photos, we're paying for marketing, we're paying for specific mailers that go out not just to the neighbors but to other neighborhoods. We also do geofencing. We also build a YouTube channel. We do a ton of marketing, and there's a cost to that. There's
time.
Yeah, but on the front end, there's cost. There's money that's going out the door immediately. So if somebody, for example, on that property, if they had come back to us and said, well, we want to list it at 1.65 million, I would have said, well, then, look, we're not even close here. You're $300,000 above where this property is worth. There's no point in me going and spending $2,500 shooting photos and doing all this marketing and all this time that I'm going to put into this, knowing that we're so far off. At the end of the day, if it doesn't transact, I lost $2,500. I didn't make anything.
Everybody loses, and then you look bad, right? I had another meeting this week with a potential seller. I think she liked me, and we're going to probably work together, hopefully. But I told her the price. I said, listen, if I listed your house today, it'd be $625, right?
Right.
And I said, here's why. I actually take an extra step to see what has sold off market, right?
Sure.
So I showed her one sale that closed exactly for $625. But it was larger.
Right.
And apparently then she kind of opened up. I feel like, people have to know, like, and trust you to work with you. And if you show them you're professional, show them that you're prepared, show them why they should work with you, show them all the high quality things that you do, they're going to be more inclined to work with you. And so she opened up and she said, well, it's just crazy to me. The last agent said $685, and I just totally disagreed with her. She didn't show me any comps. She didn't even educate me on, why she thought that. And of course, I'm not going to bash another agent, because everybody has their time and place and the way they do things. So, but it was interesting to me that she volunteered that to me, so I can relay that to you. And that, in 30 days, you're going to be calling for the reduction, and then another one. So there goes at least 90 days, right? It's from
but your best opportunity to sell, though, is the first 4 weeks.
Right.
So if you're 90 days into this,
it's a stale listing.
It's not only is it a stale listing, but your best buyers, who are very serious buyers, generally you're all cash buyers, you're well-qualified buyers that you're trying to get in, into the house in August because their kids start school in September. The serious buyers are generally going to come through in the first 3-4 weeks. If you're priced too high, you miss that your best opportunity of getting the best price.
And with more inventory coming, and we see 4.4 months now.
Right.
I mean, it's more imperative to be priced correctly. And
Agreed.
I'm telling anybody that I talk to right now, it is a very price sensitive market.
It is.
I don't take listings, and you don't take listings, and we don't take them together just to get the listing, because really, what good is that? I mean, it's a waste of
the seller's time. It's a waste of our time. It's a waste of our money. And in the end, you're setting your sellers up.
Expectations.
Well, you're setting your sellers up to make less money.
Yeah.
So you're not
Yeah.
doing what's in the best interest of the seller.
Mm-hmm.
So, our goal is obviously to get all of us the best price.
Yep.
So with that being said, I think that's a good wrap up of the month.
Yep.
We are out here on Longboat, but we service everything from Cortez. We do have a listing we believe is going to be coming in Cortez soon, all the way down to Minnesota.
That's a large area.
It's a huge area. My guess is you're probably an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes from the north all the way down to the south. But we have a lot coming up here, and I have another one I just put under contract this week. But we have a ton of listings coming up. Most of which, the vast majority of which, almost all of which, I think, are waterfront.
Yeah.
So we have a really great listing coming down in the Minnesota area. That's a really large home, completely up. I mean, everything in this property is done, and it has spectacular views. It has the views out the back are open water views.
You mean Englewood?
Well, it's Englewood. I call that Minnesota. To me, Englewood is Minnesota.
Well, it's right across Minnesota.
It's basically Minnesota.
I was like, which property is this? No, it's I cannot wait to start marketing this property.
So when that property comes out, I mean, the views are incredible. It's got the boat dock.
And sunset.
Yeah, not only is it a boat dock, but it has a built-off elevated deck that looks out over the open water. It's just really well set up. So that property is going to be coming here in the next week or so. Mm-hmm. We have one in Cortez that's coming. That Canal House, again, extremely well updated. There's the Canal House up in Cortez that's coming. Not only do you not need to do anything to it, it has solar panels that are completely paid for. Their electric bill last year for the entire year was
is cool.
$60 or $80 for the whole year. And there were months where they produced more electricity than they used, so they actually got credits. Mm-hmm. So they really, I mean, it's just really well set up, and everything has been done there as well.
Yep.
So we have a lot. We have a lot coming up.
And what's cool about this neighborhood, it's an inlet community. There are actually no restrictions on rentals.
Right.
And I know some of the owners that live there full time don't like that necessarily, but for an investor, it's great. Amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
I actually stumbled on that because of a client of mine, and then you and I started getting, talking to people there, and so it's just, we do work a wide area.
Right.
We do specialize in island and waterfront property, but I've been here since 2002. You've grown up in Venice.
Yep.
And, we know the area well, and I've got one coming up in Bradenton on the river I'm excited about. Yep. It's such a unique property and very charming, and we've got a bunch of other listings coming up as well. But wide area, so don't be scared if you have a home in Lakewood Ranch, for example.
Yep.
Because
I've done business out there.
We actually both live close to Lakewood Ranch.
Yep, and I sold one in Lorraine Lakes recently.
Yep.
And we're kind of doing business all over the place, so we're very excited.
And I would much rather be busy, and so by the way, when we say we're busy, we're never too busy for your referrals.
Absolutely.
And never too busy for you to call us.
Right.
Whether
Agreed.
you own a property in Manatee, Sarasota, or Charlotte counties, please call us. I can be reached at 941-544-7690.
Yep, and you can reach me anytime on my cell at 941-586-2460.